Good morning and welcome along to the Sports Republic Show on Voice of the People TV. My name is Kiza K, and on the show today, we'll be telling you everything Super Eagles and why they are likely not going to make it to the biggest World Cup tournament, or world tournament, you could say, or world fiesta, and a world would go, the biggest among of them all. But just maybe, although many football-loving fans and analysts still believe that there is a way out, but we'll see how that goes. But we begin today's show um, with our own very players talking about our super strikers injury update. Right now, he's the man we'll be talking about, and then that's about Taiwo Awoniyi, whose surgery news has been everywhere. Now, the news is out. The Nigerian Football Federation also on the news, and they've sent in their own wonderful, I must say, nice message to that man who had to hit his head just on the football. You can see that. Now, the Nigerian Football Federation has sent a get well soon message to Super Eagles striker Taiwo Awoniyi after the Nottingham Forest attacker underwent emergency surgery on an abdominal injury on Monday. The 27-year-old, who was a substitute during Forest 2-2 draw with visiting Leicester last Sunday, collided with the post in the 88th minute as he teed up, tried to get onto the end of the cross from Anthony Elanga. He was subsequently attended to by the club medical staff and also was passed fit to continue. However, the medical staff only discovered that the full extent of the injury of the Nigerian on Monday was very, very intense, and then was rushed to the hospital where he was talked about and where he had treatment. He underwent surgery on an abdominal injury, with the Tricky Trees issuing a statement that reads, "The club can confirm Taiwo Awoniyi has undergone surgery following an abdominal injury sustained during Sunday match against Leicester City. Everyone at Nottingham Forest sends their best wishes to Taiwo. The club will provide further updates when appropriate." Following the development, Nigerian football governing body NFF has wished Awoniyi well as he begins a period of recovery and rehabilitation. In a post on the Federation official X account, talk about the Nigerian Football Federation on Tuesday afternoon, the NFF wrote, "Brace up T. Remember, you are stronger than what you think." Forest also released a follow-up statement on Tuesday confirming Nottingham Forest can confirm that Taiwo Awoniyi is recovering well so far, following an urgent surgery on a serious abdominal injury sustained during the Sunday match against Leicester. The seriousness of his injury is a powerful reminder of the physical risk in the game and why players' health and well-being must always come first. Now, the club also used the opportunity to refute claims that there was no confrontation between owner Evangelisto Marinakis and also manager Nuno Espirito Santo after their draw to Leicester, after the Greek billionaire had walked onto the pitch at full time and was seen cutting at full animated figure as he spoke to Nuno Espirito Santo. So the news says there is no problem with Taiwo Awoniyi and also the club, Nuno Espirito Santo, the agency. There's no problem. Everything's really working well, and we pray that man comes out well. But on the NFF part, they've done so well, not bad either, to see them right into the Nigerian international, who has been he's not really been on his A game. He's not been consistent. Yesterday on the show, we talked about Taiwo, and we said a lot about Taiwo, where we said Chris Wood, the man from the New Zealand, gets to play every time ahead of our own very player. But Taiwo Awoniyi, we hope he comes out well, and I wish him a very, very peaceful time just as he waits to get back to playing time. Now, let's get to Victor Osimhen. He's the man everyone is talking about right now, Victor Osimhen. So it's more like we're doing a Nigerian striker thing, Victor Osimhen. Now, what can we talk about Victor Osimhen? Galatasaray fans on the news about Victor Osimhen, and the supporters of the Turkish side, Galatasaray, have taken to social media in large numbers to urge Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen to remain at the club before the current season. Now, the 26-year-old moved away from the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium following the fallout with Napoli representatives to join Galatasaray on a season-long loan. However, the former Leon star has adjusted to life easily in Istanbul, scoring goals that have helped Yellow Red sit comfortably at the top of the table, talk about the Super League table. Now, to keep enjoying the services of the Super Eagles striker, Galatasaray fans launched the hashtag campaign, hashtag Stay With Us Victor Osimhen, Stay With Us Osimhen, on X, formerly known as Twitter, which quickly became a trending topic across Turkey. Now, the movement comes amid growing speculation over Osimhen's future, which report linking the forward with a potential switch to Premier League club sides. Chelsea in the news, Arsenal in the news, maybe Man United, but Galatasaray faithful are hoping their public appeal can convince the Super Eagles' second all-time goal scorer to continue his journey in Istanbul. Now, a report in Turkey, the media outlet Sabah Spor, thousands of tweets have poured in order the hashtag with fans sharing Osimhen's impact since arriving at the club. That's how much he's loved. You can see that on your screen. He's so well loved. They love him so much. They like him. They want to keep him. They knows what it takes to keep a player who has netted 3 goals and provided 8 assists in total 8 appearances for the Turkey Giants, which has made him a fan favorite in his debut season. Now, it's not just about them liking Osimhen. Before we talk more about Osimhen, it's not just about the like, it's about the player's personality as well. I mean, his personality is big. When you watch Osimhen play, you know he plays with his body, soul, spirit, and mind. When you watch Osimhen play, you know he wants to get more goals. When you watch Osimhen play, you know that he does not know where he's home and away. He does not know if I'm in Nigeria or I'm abroad. I play, I give my all. And that's what Victor Osimhen is usually doing anytime there's an opportunity to get a start. He's a very big starter. He's a big prospect. Now, we heard the news that says Juve wants to sign him, but I don't think that would work because the Juve sporting director came to say we don't have a contact with Osimhen. And you know he's released for 75 million euros, and that's for clubs out away from the Serie A. But everybody knows Napoli would not want to sell to the arch rivals because with transfer talks now reportedly ongoing behind the scene, it has been made clear there is no buy-back clause in Osimhen's transfer deal, which makes it more complicated for the Turkish side. Now, Osimhen is in the news. Where is the better position? Where does he need to go? What club side is the best place for Victor Osimhen? Do you want to see him play in Man United, maybe Tottenham? Do you want to see him in the Chelsea radar, Arsenal, where? But I think about Osimhen. Osimhen personally does not want to go to a club side that would not give him what he wants. That's one. Secondly, Osimhen is so conscious about European tournament. He's so concerned about the Champions League. I don't really think he's a fan of the. He's not a fan of the Europa. That's the word. He played in the Europa. Didn't get around. He scored a lot of goals, but the Nigerian forward would want to find himself playing a club side like possibly a Man United if they can make it to the Champions League. At Chelsea, not wrong as well. Arsenal, but he's not concerned about the club side. He's concerned about the money somehow. I think, from my opinion, because we know he wants to go to a club where he will get to, remain on the payroll just like he earns in Napoli. He does not want to take back anything from his salary, or you could call it wages. Now, it's not wrong to say because we know how Victor Osimhen plays. We know, you know, I know, everybody knows. We've seen him play. There's no way you want to contradict his gameplay. What he has done in recent football should be talked about. What he has done in game time in Turkey should be talked about. We saw club side in Saudi Arabia wanted to sign a Nigerian forward, and he said, "No, I would not play. I wouldn't play Saudi Arabia. I don't think it's time." And if you look at the way the economy of Nigeria is really looking, you know what I mean? I like to say Nigerian economy doesn't really affect the footballers playing the trade outside. When you ask questions like, will you turn down a club side in Al Ahly? Talk about club side Al Nassr, this big club side in Saudi. They might not be big to say, but I call them big because the money is there. But Osimhen, his age is 26, 27, there's no way. 26, 27 is go close. He wouldn't want to play at that level with his age, and now he's shown the world that yes, I'm Victor, I'm Osimhen, everybody knows me, they watch me play, I won the African Best 2023, and then what more can be said about me? I'm moving to Turkey, and when he went to Galatasaray, everybody felt like, no, you can't make it right here, because competition was there, Icardi was also there, and but with all of these things, Morata made a move, a lot of big players have made a move to the Turkey side, but Victor Osimhen stood his ground. And right now, he's the man that is talked about. He's the favorite of the fans. He's the most loved in Turkey, as I tell to you. Now, it's not just about being a Nigerian. It's about what he has done. He knows his job. He scored goals. So when you're scoring goals and you're putting in the eyes of the people, you know how the foreigners, the Europeans would like to say, the goal is the prospect. He's got a big prospect. He's a very big player for Nigeria. And not just Nigeria. Even in Nigeria, to say no one has made his mark close to that man at the players we have in the national team like Chelle. So Victor Osimhen, good to go at the time. Do I want him to stay back in the club that wants him? They don't even mind to trigger the salary or the wages, you like to call it. But it's about Osimhen. If you ask me, I'll say, please. You need to leave. You need to leave. Your vision is high. Yeah, no doubt. Even if he stays more, he'll still play well. Osimhen is not a player that you like. He's not consistent. No, as far as he's not injured. Yeah, if he's not injured, he will play. But if he eventually gets down with injury. That's the bad one about Osimhen. But what he has done in Turkey, or Turkey, yeah, you could call it, is not a bad one and should be talked about. But I don't know if the fans really allow him go. That's the thought. From the fans' perspective, it's a no-go area. Osimhen would not leave us. Each time you see him doing that, yeah, whatever they do, and he knows it well. That's how much he's loved. Even when the players are leaving for the locker room, he stays back. He has time with them. They like him well. You can see this. When this was a looking one, like he climbed up, he went far, and so at this point he needs to come down. He's trying to be strong, and you can see that everybody wants to touch Osimhen. They're bringing him down, and a lot of autographs, and then what more can we talk about the Nigerian best player of all time for now? Not of all time, but for now. Don't get me wrong. Now let's leave Osimhen showers and talk about one man again. So from striker to striker, you could say from forward to forward. Next we can talk about one man. His name is Rocco Dari. He's in the news. The last time he played for the Super Eagles, he was crying. He was sharing tears. Now questions were asked, and they said, "Why are you sharing tears? Why are you crying?" And he said to them, "The reason why you see me this way is I never believed that my parents would watch me one day in a stadium that I was playing in Nigeria, and it came to pass like a Bible verse." And that was the man you have on your screen. To Rocco Dari joins Super Eagles Legends to back top award. Now, so he's not just the only player who have done this one. Super Eagles legend Daniel Amokachi also in the news. He's seen this one before. Victor Ikpeba, Celestin Babayaro were past winners of the Ebony Boot awarded to the best African player in Belgium, and now they have been joined by Tolu Arokodare. That's the man you have on your screen. I mean, Boniface calls him Pink Lips. He said Pink Lips to him. Oh, Pink Lips, right. Well, great to see a Nigerian doing well in the Jubilee Pro League. Everybody knows he's 24. He plays for Genk. He is a striker, and he has won the Ebony Boot for himself after scoring 22 goals and providing 7 assists in his most prolific season over the European shows. Now, it was a recognition of the striker's growth, which also earned him 2 Super Eagles appearances in March. And that's what I want to say. If you're getting it right, you're playing well for your club side, you're being noted, recognition is out there, you should be in the news. I like to talk about this man. He should be in the news. Now, he won the prestigious award ahead of not just Met players, ahead of Noah Siddiqui of Union St. Galles, and also Genk teammate Akari El Kode. That's his teammate. Now, Onion, striker Promise David, that one's just a man to talk about. Promise David, who opted to represent Canada ahead of the Super Eagles, was 4th on the list. Why Super Eagles midfielder of Club Brugge, Raphael Onyedika, placed 5th. So if you look at the scenario, you'll see Nigerians are really not doing bad all over the world. We are everywhere. We want to be everywhere. We are in the faces of the people. We are in the face of the media. We like to do what we love to do well. We portray to the people so you know that, yes, this is me. That's Rocco Dari you have on your screen. And then I told about our 1 year, told about Victor Osimhen, and told you about Rocco Dari. These 3 guys are Super Eagles forward. But if you look at the pecking order right now, I think Awoniyi is the man who just maybe he's not in that list for now. Yeah, because right now when you ask any coach to tell you Victor Osimhen, have a Boniface, have a Tolu Rocco Dari. But for me, if you ask me my opinion, no disrespect, I say, no disrespect to one man, no disrespect to Boniface, but if you ask me about the pecking order, I mean, if I happen to be the coach tomorrow, I don't know what prospect, I bring in the Civil Deserts, he's steady, I don't care, he's scoring goals, I bring him to defeat him. I mean, 2 years, 3 years, not even a bad one. But if you ask me, the Super Eagles players on the pecking order, how you get starts if you're the coach, I'll tell you for me, Victor Osimhen, no doubt, Cyril Deserts, no doubt, and the Rocco Dari. These 3 happens to be. Then the rest of them, I'm sorry, I don't know them for now. No, Onacho, Sadiq Kumara, they are doing well, but this is just like 3 basic players if I'm opportunity to be the Eric Chelle of Nigeria. But let's talk about more Super Eagles players, transfer news out there. West Ham is in contention of signing just someone. 3-time FA Cup winners West Ham United have entered into race to sign highly converted Super Eagles and Club Brugge midfielder Raphael Onyedika, the 24-year-old, recently lifted Club Brugge's 12th Belgian club title with a 2-1 victory over fierce rivals Anderlecht in the post-stadium final at the King Boutin Stadium in Brussels. Onyedika all-round performances has seen him linked with Bayern Munich, Manchester City, AC Milan, and now West Ham United are keen on the Nigerian international. That's a picture you have on the screen. He played, he's still playing, and that's when he played with Man City. You know the goal he scored, that was like the best goal he's ever scored all his life. And this probably is one of his best pictures, I'm just saying, with Erling Braut Haaland, and in the Champions League game that they lost, they scored first, but they couldn't hold the game to the level that they can just man it up. It was a City stealing, and on that very to stole the show. But for Raphael Onyedika, the Hammers are closely monitoring this man ahead of the summer transfer window, alongside Switzerland midfielder Adon Chijari. The 24-year-old versatile midfielder is understood to have attracted the interest of a whole club side, host of club side across Europe, and he's a player admired by Graham Potter and his recruitment team. According to a report, the former West Ham recruitment staff made this information known on the West Ham podcast, and the statement raised another player from Club Brugge who is a potential target again with a lot of competition is Nigerian international defensive midfielder Raphael Onyedika. Now, this picture is actually looking nice that you have on your screen. Now, this is Onyedika. Now, do you know that man just by his side? Do you know that guy? You know that guy? Both Nigerians in Belgium playing games. So it's a gang Club Brugge match. Onyedika always with the band in his hand. That's the bandage. And that's Tolu Arokodare, very fitted player. I mean, what more can be said about this guy? He's just out there. He wants to score more goals. But for Onyedika, it's still early days. But the club are currently in the process of getting the key target identified ahead of what is anticipated to be a very busy summer transfer window, the personnel mentioned. But Onyedika's current deal with Club Brugge runs until the summer of 2027. However, it is believed that he will be willing to part ways with the Super Eagles. Star if they get an offer within 20 million euros. Oh, no, $20 million, $25 million, that's the word. So he's still a Super Eagles player, don't get me wrong. When I mean partner ways, leaving the club side to get to the national team, that's what I mean. And Onyedika, do you like Onyedika? Are you a fan of Raphael Onyedika? Before we talk about Eric Chelle and what he has in stock and what he wants to do to see that he gets to pass the South African side during the World Cup qualifier. Onyedika is good to go. If I like say, these players should be given opportunities in the national team. He's a good player. He has shown it to the world. He's shown it to the Super Eagles. He's shown it to the coach. I've seen it. I know you've seen it as well. Is it worth starting? Yes. Can he play the game? Yes. He's played the game to a high level. I think recently we like to use Ndidi to play that role. I don't know. I like to say it's not on anyone to say this is my role. It's specifically my role. No one has got to run the national team. Your role in the national team is if you're doing well at club basis, and when you come to the club Nigerian side, you come to the nation side, you're living your dream and you're showing the same thing, like you're replicating it. You're bringing that you're replicating the same thing same way you play at club level, and you're replicating that same action on the national team. You should be getting starts for everywhere. That's how it's done. Now, let's talk about the strategic approach. Eric Chelle is in the news. This happens to be the basic talk. Eric Chelle, Super Eagles coach Eric Chelle, has declared that Nigeria will not allow South Africa to dictate play. It's important to talk about. He said he has declared it well again, and he has said it out. He will not allow South Africa to dictate play. When both sides clash in September, he must win 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match. Chelle made a strong start to his tenure with a 2-0 victory over Rwanda, but faced an early setback when Nigeria conceded a late equalizer in Uyo, resulting in a frustrating 1-1 draw against Zimbabwe. That result left fans disappointed and put the Super Eagles in a difficult position in the Group C. Are we still there? Yes. But as the qualifier resumes in September, Nigeria will take on Rwanda and South Africa, needing maximum points to keep their World Cup hopes alive. Super Eagles currently fourth in a group with 7 points from 6 games, 6 points behind leader South Africa. That's a very, very scary one. Their upcoming clash with Bafana carries added weight, given their recent encounter. Nigeria defeated South Africa in the semi-final of the 23 Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast, that's the AFCON, advancing via penalty after a tense battle. We struggled in that very game. Now, while South Africa went on to finish third, Nigeria fell short in the final, losing to host Cote d'Ivoire. For Eric Chelle, facing South Africa is familiar territory. As the Mali head coach at the AFCON 2023, he orchestrated a dominant 2-0 group stage victory over Bafana. Now he aims to replicate that success with Nigeria. Eric Chelle has made it clear that his immediate focus is on Rwanda, the first of their 2 September qualifiers. And it's an obligation we win in South Africa. But the most important match for us right now is Rwanda in Uyo. He told report that's called Nigeria. South Africa are a very good side, but for the game, we cannot afford to allow them play. That's what he's saying. But first, we have to beat Rwanda at home, and then he will focus on the game in South Africa. That's a must win. Both games. But those crucial fixtures, Super Eagles will face, aside those ones, but those crucial fixtures, Super Eagles will face Russia in an international friendly in June, and they will also participate in the 4-nation invitational tournament featuring Jamaica, Ghana, providing additional preparation time ahead of their decisive World Cup qualifiers. Now, before we talk about the way out, the intense part of it, the long story about the Super Eagles, everything you need to know, why we are still on this phase, what has kept us at bay, why is Nigeria not moving forward on the football world. Let me talk about Eric Chelle a bit. Now, Eric Chelle, what's the word? Not a bad coach, right? Not a bad coach, truth be told, but he said it. He played against South Africa during the Nations Cup. He knows them. So when people say the biggest game we have ahead of us is the South African game, but I feel like when you ask football players what's like who and who, what's next? When you ask a player like you're asking about an Odegaard of Arsenal, you're asking him a question like, if you have the Champions League game, maybe possibly 2 weeks time, and you have a game at hand, they tell you we are focused on the game against Fulham. Like example, like they're always focused on the next game before the long one. Now I'm liking the part where Eric Chelle is saying everyone needs to calm down. South Africa is a must-win game. We need to be there because they become our big rival. But you have to take it step by step. What happens when you lose to Rwanda in Nigeria and go on to win South Africa? It doesn't make any sense. And that's just what it is. So at this point in time, all Eric Chelle needs to do is to see that the Super Eagles come out strong, get the result right, and they say we will win both games and we'll win the remaining 4 matches. That's what we've been saying. We glamour for this. We want to see the Super Eagles at the biggest Mondial or the World Cup. You know, USA, Canada, Mexico, we know we like to see them at the World Cup. Like I already said, it will be so bad, so shameful if Nigeria doesn't make it to the World Cup in 2026. I don't even know where I'll be because it will sound so bad that I'll be on the TV or possibly on the radio. I'm giving a commentary or talking about other nations when Nigeria is not part of this. Also, not just about the people, not about millions of Nigeria, also to people who play the game. How would they feel? You know, sometimes I just sit back and I calculate some of their ages. I check Victor Osimhen, I check Wilfred Ndidi. Okay, he's been at the World Cup before. It will be Trust Ekong, but no other player. I look at man, he doesn't know about the World Cup. He just knows it. He's not been there. He's not played it. Osimhen has not played at the World Cup before. A lot of them, majority of the players in the national team. Eric Chelle also not been at the World Cup. So it's a big mondial that we just want to be part of. Because if you don't play in a World Cup, I don't know if I should say, but that's what it is. If you're not, your game is, your football career for me is not complete. You don't even need to win it, but you need to participate in the World Cup. The World Cup is a place where the world comes together as one. That's why the beautiful game of football is amazing. But Nigeria needs to be on the World Cup. I don't know what you make. I don't know how you want to talk about it, but we need to be on the World Cup. We cannot afford not to make it to the World Cup this time around. The last time it happened in Qatar, we missed out, and you know the story. The last time Nigeria was involved in the World Cup was 2018, and then you know how it went. But what Zoho in the cup was, you know, I mean, a lot of players on that very shows. But let's hope for the best and then possibly prepare for the worst. You're still watching the Sports Republic show right here. My name is Kizzy K. I'll go on a short break. When we return, the show continues. Please don't go anywhere. And guess what? When we're back, we'll tell you, can the Super Eagles qualify for the World Cup 2026? All you need to know just on that one. Stay with us, please.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Yes, welcome back from that quick break. You're still watching Voice of the People TV. Yes, it's time for us to look into the Super Eagles news. Can they make it to the World Cup? That's the question we're asking. But every Nigerian just know it's been 9 long months since Nigeria last World Cup 26 qualifying game. But every Super Eagles fan will tell you that 2 wins from the next international round of fixtures is vital if we are able to cheer on our team in North America next year. We're going to be there, just hopefully, let's see. Although dropping points would probably not mean the end of the qualifying dream, it would make it much more difficult for Nigeria to plan on preparing for the first finale or finals since 2018. Now, since making their World Cup debut, it's still scary to talk about. Is that so scary to talk about the Super Eagles? That's Eric Chelle. There's no way you want to talk about the Super Eagles without talking about the coach. Now, since making their World Cup debut in the USA, that's 1994, the Super Eagles have only ever missed out on 2 finals, but the current crop of players might well miss out entirely if results don't improve over the next few months. Let's wait. September is close. Some of the best sports betting sites still seem to have confidence in one of Africa's most successful footballing nation. I told you, I had what's his name, John Fashino, on the show on the radio. When I was asking him question, he's so optimistic about Nigeria, and I said to him, John, tell me, do you see Nigeria making it to the World Cup? He said yes. But fans are concerned that the general improvement of so-called smaller nations in Africa means that qualification for major tournament is no longer guaranteed. The current campaign actually began back in 2023. So you want to know, let me tell you how everything's sport, so you can know and you can banter this and you can talk about this and you can ask questions and you can know. The current campaign actually began back in 2023 with an uninspiring draw against Lesotho. Can you imagine the country? No disrespect to Lesotho, but can you imagine Nigeria drawing to Lesotho? Now, that was followed by another draw against lowly Zimbabwe that questioned the future of Jose Pesero's tenure as head coach. You cannot see Pesero sport a lot for us. Today is not in the news anymore. Pesero is now the coach. I mean, he was just fired some days back. He's the coach. He was the coach of the Zamalek side. That's the man you have on your screen. He was Nigerian coach. He took us to the AFCON finals. We lost to the Ivorians, the host nation. And I still question the stats. If he had won it, we should be talked about, be known as the 4-time African champions. But till date, the last time we clinched on the Nations Cup was 2013. And some blessed memory, Stephen Keshi is no longer alive today. Now, Pesero would have done that, and I would have been so happy to see Nigeria win that very well. But he was able to redeem himself slightly by taking Nigeria all the way to the final of the 23 Africa Cup of Nations. But he left soon after. Former legend Finidi George took over, but could not improve results, with the Super Eagles failing to beat South Africa and then losing to Benin Republic. Augustine Iguavo took over. You see what's happening in Nigeria? All of this hand over, move, is not really helping the nation. Iguavo took over the job. That's when over the job successfully after the AFCON 25 qualifying campaign. But now, there is yet another man in charge. Now, let's talk about the new appointment. The new appointment has not arrived without controversy. Eric Chelle as the first ever known. Okay, let me talk about Eric Chelle. Let me talk about Finidi George. Yes, I recall I had when I asked question to Fashion, he told me, he said Nigerians don't support their own, not just him. I had a dig by me as well. He said we don't respect our own. Now this man, I know you don't need to play the game to be a good manager, right? But you know, administrative wise, you need to know there's a license and coaching. I know all of this thing. But if you play the game and you are the coach, or you become a coach tomorrow, I feel like you've got every exposure, every style, football methodology, the nitty-gritty about the game. You know it because you want to explore what you know. It works so well. Now this man, I think Finidi is not, I think he wasn't given the support he needed, right? Yes, he came in to take over, he was assistant from the Nigerian shows to Pesero. But when he came in, we talked about the 15 million naira monthly salary and the rest of that, blah, blah, blah. But I felt that he would have gotten all of the support from the Nigerian Football Federation. Quote me on this one. I would say Finidi George never had the support he needed. Now, guess what? I met him at the preceding time in Ikene, and I had words with him in Augustine. I said, Finidi, tell me, this is like an interview, me and you one-on-one, let's talk about this. You and I, let's talk about this. He said, tell me about the Osimhen saga, tell me about the NFF. He said, I won't talk about it. I don't think Finidi is happy with Nigerian football, I'm so sure. Like, I can beat my chest here in the studio, I can say it anywhere in the time. he is not happy with the way he was treated. Even though he didn't really give us what we wanted, but legendary respect was never given to this man. This is a player who has played football level to a hard place. He's played on Ipswich Town in the England side. He's played at the highest level. He won the Champions League 19 out of 5. The likes of Louis van Gaal was the manager, Razinga was there, Patrick Kluivert, Kanu Wanko. You know, these guys played so well and they won it. Both brothers, Ronaldo de Boer, Frank de Boer, that was a Dutch international connection. He was the starter of that game. Even though Kanu Wanko wasn't the starter, Finidi George played the game to a high level. I felt like I don't like the way he was treated. If you ask me, I'll tell you my humble opinion. Is he a good coach? It's not me to say. He's a Rivers United manager now. He's doing the job in the MPFL, Nigerian Premier Football League. Is he good on the job? Maybe not me to justify, but I feel like he was not well taken care of. And if it was a foreign manager on that job, I'm so sure they would have given him everything he needed. But up to date, he has refused to talk about it. How unstructured is Nigerian football? One of the latest saga Finidi George had was Victor Osimhen. And up to date, if Osimhen apologized just behind the scene, we don't know. But Osimhen did not come out publicly the way he also insulted the manager at that point. He didn't say, I'm sorry. He didn't say it. So it's not me to say Osimhen was right or Finidi. I'm not trying to justify anybody on this case, but I feel like we need a structure. There should be a template leading the Nigerian football, the body that should govern us well, the NFL. They need to put things right because any other player could just come out tomorrow. One new player from somewhere could just come out and just, just like a player like Mustafa Papadaniels now. He come out and he just say it the way he wants. Osimhen is a big player. He's got social media presence. So anything you say does, it makes waves. People listen to you well. He's a very big influencer. But the way he insulted this man you have on your screen, I felt like he owes him an apology. If he has done it, I don't know. But publicly, he has not come out to say. So it's still about, do we respect our own? But let's go off that one and tell them all. The new appointment has not arrived without controversy for Eric Chelle as the first ever non-Nigerian African to take over the Super Eagles' top position. Eric Chelle will know that there will be someone, because he knows the job he has taken over. He knows that some who think that he is the wrong man for the job, managing mostly the French lower leagues. Chelle also took the Malian side, the national team, to the quarterfinals of the AFCON in 2023. Not a bad result. He was fired after a poor start, to their World Cup campaign, qualifying campaign, and has most recently coached in Algeria. Now he faces one of the biggest tests of his career. This is the biggest brand, that's the word, that Eric Chelle has managed. Play-wise, coaching-wise, yes, he played the game to a level, yes, I know. But on the managing route, Oran, club side and Algerian side, MC Oran, now the Malian side, he did well. He took a Mali side to the quarterfinal. But now this job will ask questions. Did you know it well? How well can you get it right for Nigeria? And his name is Eric Chelle. Now, there will be 4 more games to play in September and October after the international break. But the next game in Rwanda, or the next game is Rwanda, in the following fixtures, I will play at home. Now, it's a very crucial scenario for Nigeria. Only one team is guaranteed to place to be at the World Cup. And Rwanda is one currently holding that role at some point. They stopped us at a different level. Now, Rwanda, South Africa, Benin Republic, all are just not doing bad for themselves. But on paper, the Super Eagles look to be in a good position to be able to take maximum points from the upcoming games. The squad is full of stars, star players performing in some of the top European leagues, as well as both the last 2 African players of the year, Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman. Why are we not getting it right? It could be argued that those 2 players, it could be argued that those 2 have both dipped in form since winning their awards, but they still have the experience. That's even the wrong saying, sorry to say that, because they are both playing well. Lookman has got 15 goals in all season. Right now, as I talk to you in the Serie A, Victor Osimhen has scored a lot of goals for himself in all competition 33. Now, if you watch them play, you know that these guys should be feared in Africa. But are they really feared? The likes of Moses Simon, Ola Aina, Alex Iwobi, Calvin Bassey add to what seems to be a formidable squad. The Rwanda squad, in comparison, plays their football domestically, and Zimbabwe is also considered one of the weakest teams in the group. And yet, till date, Nigeria cannot go past these nations. That's a big shame to Nigerian football. I don't even know where we are going from here. The question is, which way is Super Eagles? Although the 2023 AFCON showing what was somehow good, we felt like we have a team and we could have continued from here. But the Super Eagles had become used to represent Africa at the most prestigious international tournament, and the thought of missing out again has to be on the minds of all involved. With an expanded format, the 2026 World Cup is set to be the largest yet. So it should be inconceivable that Nigeria might not be involved. So please, if you're doing your permutation and you're like, Nigeria will make it to the World Cup, start thinking right. I'm not saying Nigeria will not make it, but that's a big fear. Yeah, that's a big fear. That's a big fear. With 4 games left in qualifying series, Nigeria still have a chance to make it out. We still have a chance to make it out, but it's big. It's so big, like there will be 2 semifinals and then the final determines who will present Africa in the CAF Interconfederation playoff. Now, we're not looking, that's how bad it is at this point. We are still looking forward. We are wanting a side who has done so well, the South Africans. Now, if we can get to bring them down, we are looking forward to the CAF Intercontinental playoff. I don't know if that's what we are dreaming. I don't even know if that's what Nigerians are wanting. I don't know if that's the route they are wanting to go, but I'm just looking at it from every perspective. If you ask me on the show, I'll be very innocent with you, and I will tell you the truth that left for me, the side who have done so well, who merit to be at the World Cup, if it's just one side to go, should be the South African side. And if you say no, I'll tell the Rwanda side because they've played well and they want to be there. It's just about the Nigerian structure. It's just about the Nigerian Football Federation. Do you know how long it took Nigeria to get a coach? The playoff itself doesn't give Nigeria a second chance. It's a risky route to take, considering some of the others African nations in the same position, and then the prospect of playing a team from another part of the world. See, I don't know. It's so big. Eric Chelle will be planning for a positive run of result that boosts Nigeria's position in the qualifying group and hopefully to a place where qualification is guaranteed. Nigeria has become one of the most recognizable African representatives in the global stage. And with that caliber of players that we have, this nation produces quality players. It would be a travesty if it wasn't able to progress. And then, can we make it to the World Cup? The question is still clear, and I'm still asking. It's bad results for us all the time. The writing is on the wall for any discerning or discerning football follower to see. The Super Eagles right from the start of the qualifying series had not shown any promise of a team likely to shine. In their last 4 matches, before the recent 2, they were only able to gather 4 points, with even a defeat in the match against Benin Republic, a team which we never give any consideration. We lost to them. So the last time we played now, Zimbabwe, okay, we won in Kigali. That's like a record, and I must give thumbs up to Eric Chelle because we know the last player who scored a goal on that show in Kigali, the Mahoro, the Mahoro people, the last player who scored a goal there was the Bafemi Mountains. Up to then, we've not scored a goal. But Victor Osimhen redeemed that one, and he made it right. Now, we now went away. We got it right. We played good. Now, we came to play in Nigeria. I don't even know if that stadium is cursed. I don't want to believe there's a word like that, but Uyo is not favorable, I tell you. We played in Uyo. Looking at the game, where we played, it felt like we are here, and all of a sudden, we drew that game. Now, when the draw was announced, many Nigerians thought it was a walkover for national teams like our national team. Like, who should have known Zimbabwe can stop Nigeria? Lesotho. If it was during the JJ Okocha's time, I mean, I'm just saying. As of 2013, let's even take it back from, let's take it from 94 to 2013. That's when I feel like, okay, just maybe this countryside cannot even contest Nigeria. Zimbabwe, Lesotho, okay, maybe South Africa has been there for a while. Rwanda, Benin Republic, we're even scared of them because they haven't got team. I mean, look at they've got quality team. It's not just about the quality players, but they've got the team. It might not be quality, but they've got the team. That's the word. Because when the draw was announced, many Nigerians thought it was a walkover for the national team. Although it was also happening in football that surprises many people. This may happen, but not many Nigerians believe it will be this worse. It's indeed unbelievable that we are now praying for South Africa to lose some points following a complaint lodged by Lesotho over the fielding of an ineligible player, Teboho Mokoena. For many Nigerians, or let's say for many Nigerian football fans, it's difficult to imagine that Nigeria may not, for the second time, feature at another World Cup fiesta. Some Eagles, I don't know, let's just say, let's wish them the best. Because Super Eagles were absent at the 2022 tournament following the defeat by who? the Black Stars of Ghana right here at the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja. And it was also in the goalpost. It was a Thomas Partey with a shot. I mean, Thomas Partey was literally, his shots were down like what people call sagging, like he was, to say, low waist. He brought his stalk, like his shot, he got down. That's the way he played. A lot of players are like that, you know, we've seen them. Because there are a lot of players who like to play that way. And he struck that one, and the ball went in the post. And see, we don't indulge, we don't want violence. The game doesn't call for racism, the game doesn't call for violation. We don't want to see violence in the game. But the fans could not hold it. They vandalized everywhere. The players were secure to go to the locker room. They just dragged them into the locker room, and it was a bad scenario. Now, what would happen? Have you ever thought about what would happen if Nigeria does not make it to the World Cup? Our current predicament has been locking for a long time, largely due to several lapses in our football. It's a football administration fault. For one, it's been long since the team had a consistent coaching crew for a stretch of time. Why? Why can't we have this one? Like, I tell you, it's a lackluster one. It's a locking for a long time, largely, and this is several lapses in our football administration. For one, it's been long, like I already said, since the team had a consistent coaching crew for a stretch of time, which is essential for planning and building an understanding squad. Now, the last time we had a head coach for the national team who had a long spell with the team was Gennett Raw. And then his long-term duration was 5 years. Since his departure in 2021, the team has had 4 coaches in a quick succession. You cannot do that. You cannot grow from here. That's not the way forward. That's not the way. Since the departure of Gennett Raw in 2021, the team has had 4 coaches in a quick succession, which did not allow, which did not allow for the necessary bonding and cohesion. Now, some of the coaches served in interim capacity, which did not allow for commitment on the coaching crew. Now, adding to this story, I tell you, the country's over-reliance on foreign-based players, some of whom have never set their feet in Nigeria until they are called to the Eagles camp. It's difficult for many young players who do not know, who do not have the sight, who do not know how things are being done here, of being a Nigerian, to be able to mount and integrate with the team. I like to say that. Let me even sound it clear. I don't want to say, I don't like giving so much credit to the NFF presidents. I don't like to do that, because if they do it right, I will talk about it right. But let's take it back to Manju Pinnick. This is Kusol, Ibrahim Musa Kusol. This is the man. This is our current NFF president. But let's take it back to the one who he succeeded, Amaju Melvin Pinnick. I know him back from the South. I know when he started this job at some point, there's something he was doing right. That's the only one I can say yes. I can say yes. Amaju Pinnick, you did well. He had the power to integrate players born abroad to come back. He convinced them. I don't know how he did it. It was like a magic. I don't know. But that's the man. I don't know how he was able to do it. He did it. He worked so well. He was able to create that scenario to make them feel like, yes, Nigeria is a conducive arena. But right now, it's a different ballgame. Again, it also creates problem for the close monitoring of the performance. Unfortunately, some only result of playing for the country and also for the Nigerian side after being rejected by their host nation. Now, a player who understands the terrain and psychology of the country stands a better chance of giving the country his best, even if playing for a foreign club. In this, we recall the exploit of the Super Eagles of the 1990s, which brought joy and pride to the country. We at VOP TV Sports believe that it's not too late to create such it's not too long to create such a team if only those in charge have the will to do so. It's also very necessary to ensure that we have a coaching crew which is given a long-term contract and also a free hand to execute the job. This will provide the evolution of a working plan for the team. It will also provide for close monitoring of players both home and abroad. These are long and medium-term measures, but the task ahead is to ensure that the Super Eagles qualify for the biggest football fiesta. All hands must be on deck, and for this task to happen, the coaching crew, the players, and the football administrators must give their best to ensure the nation's qualification. We welcome the decision to line 2 friendly matches ahead of our qualifying matches against Rwanda. Yes, it's important. Football has remained the unifying factor in Nigeria, and we cannot afford to miss another chance. It will be sad to miss the fiesta 2 times in a row. While wishing the team success in the next matches, we urge them to be more committed and also give their best to the job. And yes, that's all I can say about the national team for now. But tomorrow will be another time when we'll talk more of the Super Eagles job. But can I tell you, it's on the players to decide this. You need to know what it takes to play for the national badge. If I'm opportune to wear that jersey, I know it's a load of effort, because when you play for Nigeria, you're not just playing for yourself, not for your family, not for friends. You're playing for the federation. It's a big jersey, and you need to respect it. Mentality-wise, can the Super Eagles come out strong against Rwanda? Time will tell. Can the Super Eagles make it right against South Africa? Time will tell. But for Eric Chelle, he said, let's take it beat by beat, and at the end of the day, we'll come out strong. So I wish the Super Eagles all the best just as he goes on. But for Victor Osimhen, I think the closest one is the Unity Cup. The Russia game, we'll play Russia, don't worry. Let's just go up, enjoy ourselves, have fun, enjoy the game. Right, you last on the game. But for that Russia match, we should be very careful. And if you leave the Russia match, talk about the Unity Cup, GTEC Stadium, Brentford, we have to play Ghana, as well as we know them, Trinidad and Tobago, Reggae Boss of Jamaica. So it's a place where I would say, Eric Chelle, it's time for you to go back to the drawing board if you even have one. I'm just saying. Get it right. Put your house in order. Nobody will believe you if you don't believe in yourself. You believe in yourself, and I also want to urge NFF, please, I beg you, in the name of God. I don't know the God they serve, but I know the God I serve, the great God. They should give this man the time, give him the chance, give him the support, give him a free hand. That's what we want to say. Up until then, we have to go. This is the Sports Republic Show, and you've been watching Voice of the People TV. We have the media news coming up for 12 Nigerian time. Don't go anywhere. But thank you so much. I'll remain your host, and I'll be back to do more on the show for you tomorrow. And then, you know, I am the only football analyst without a jersey. You could say the only football player without a jersey. My name is Kizzy K, and I'll see you tomorrow. Save.